to the 5 would mean we are quite a bit ways out and running a few minutes behind schedule. There's Tom Thompson. The fact that he's not yet in the seat would indicate we do have a little time to go. We'll try to get the time corrected for you here. Tom Thompson, one of the drivers who is the furthest from home here this weekend. He is a right coaster. A name that was very, very well known in boat racing circles, except here on the far west coast. Until he moved up from the smaller ranks and got his first opportunity to drive an Unlimited, driving for Scott and Shannon Rainey, a team that's based in Edmonds, Washington, north of Seattle. Sponsorship from our friend David Hawley and Peters in May, and David is with us this weekend from London. Here is J. Michael Kelly's boat just coming off the trailer. That is the 7 Graham Trucking, one of the former Budweiser boats, a boat that has a lot of history here in San Diego as it does across the country on other Unlimited race courses. Qualified 4th on the ladder, but I think we can say this about J. Michael Kelly without it sounding negative. He races faster than he qualifies. He is seldom at the top of the qualifying ladder, but always deck to deck in the final, racing for the win. We'll see what he can do here in Heat 1B. He will be racing Jimmy Shane. And as Steve David pointed out, it is critical for J. Michael Kelly to draw Jimmy Shane as many times as possible. There is a 100-point swing every time you race against the boat that you're racing against for high points. The winner of this heat will receive 400 points. The loser, or I should say second place, 300 points. So Jimmy Shane can add 100 points to his lead over J. Michael Kelly by beating him right here. Kelly, on the other hand, can decrease that. I believe it's a 666-point lead after qualifying. And Kelly can reduce that by 100 by beating Shane here. Points were earned in qualifying, and Shane picked some up there. He picked up the 100 points for the first place at the top of the qualifying ladder. Second place qualifying is 80 points, then 70 and 60. So it wasn't a major move, but Jimmy Shane did pick up 40 points on J. Michael Kelly during qualifying here yesterday afternoon. J. Michael, that's wife Angela in the white shorts. Just a few final words as JMK gets into the cockpit. Aboard the 7 Graham Trucking. J. Michael, a master at securing the inside. If he's able to do that here, he will undoubtedly give Jimmy Shane a very good race. Once again, a glorious panorama here as we look out across Mission Bay. Tom Thompson now is aboard the 11. That was a look at the hill just off to our east, down at the end of Mission Bay. Here's a countdown now. 1, mark. 1 to the 5, so we are 6 minutes away. No, correction. Just tell me what it is. Okay, that was 1 to the 5. Okay, 1 to the 5 to the 5. And if you do the math, that's 11 minutes. 1 to the 5 to the 5, so we are 11 minutes away from the start of Heat 1B. We're a little behind, boss.
Yeah, took a little time to get the boats out of the water and settle the folks down. There's a little bit of, which happens, the emotions get hot after a race. And so we go down and we talk to them, try to get input from each of the drivers, what happened. We have some video. We can review the call, but that's not going to happen until after this next
Here
heat.
comes the countdown to 5 to the 5. 1, mark. So now we have 10 minutes to go. So Mr. Perkins pleaded his case to no avail. Did he have a case at all?
Well, he may. We've got to wait and review the video after this heat. Brian, I mean, I've raced against Brian a long time. He's a good kid. He would never intentionally do anything. So we're going to review the video, see if it was a legit call or not. Our officials are humans. We can certainly make a mistake, and so can Brian. So my concern as a chairman is that these guys all have to remain friends. You can get hot after the moment, but you got to settle down afterwards and understand that this is racing, and it's on the water, and you're going to get wet, and it's very rare that it's intentional.
So his contention would be that he held his lane through the turn, right?
Yeah, his claim is that the 27 didn't hold their arc, that he held his arc, and if they will watch it from the helicopter, it'll show that his arc didn't change, and by the 27 coming out, his arc staying the same, the 9 goes through his tail, but he's not the one that did it. That can happen, but really only from the air can you see that. One of the things that we're working with this coming year, Steve, is actually live drones in each turn, far less expensive than a helicopter, and they'll give us a live feed, so those kind of calls can be instant, and we can actually stop the image to show the drivers.
So there may be more to the story. Heat 1A, stay tuned.
Yeah, I would say stay tuned. All of our calls are subject to review. Again, and one of my goals in this thing is that if we made a mistake as an official, I want us to correct it, but if we did make a mistake, I want the drivers to understand why the call was made, so next time they go out, they can be a little bit more cautious. These are all good guys. Nobody wants to hose anybody down, but they're obviously racing to win.
Was Cal Phipps also given a voice in the discussion?
He will be given in the event that the call should be different. Now, he was in, I believe, lane 1. Now, what lane 1 gives you is 30 feet off the pin. Your left spot's going to be 30 feet out. So you can actually move in and out within that 30 feet width. So you say you come into the pin and it's only 5 feet off and then you move out 30 feet. Well, you can do that because that's actually your lane if you have the lead. Doing that, if the boat in lane 3, which in this case is the 21, was holding a tight arc, that little bit of movement in and out from the inside could have shut down the lane for number 9, so which is the 811 dig. So until they really review everything, it's a hard thing to say. I know all the drivers, and I know none of them would do it intentional, but we got to make sure we make the right call.
Now we're about to go 3 more laps of unlimited racing. We're going to have Jimmy Shane and J. Michael Kelly probably side by side, as they have been most of the season. Tom Thompson and Kevin Ekrid get the honor of running with them.
Yeah, now that itself is going to be a good race, though. The 100 and the 11 are not that badly mismatched, so this could be a great race for first and second and third and fourth. What will be interesting for the first place one is the 5 needs points he's got to win. If he can't win, the question then is, do you realize you can't? You save this stuff and you try to win the race, because if you can't win the championship, at least you want to win the race.
In my 40 years of watching this, we saw a lot of great rivalries and a lot of great racing. I've never seen 2 guys hook up race after race after race the way those 2 have this season.
They really have. They've done a tremendous job. It reminds me of the rivalries in the old days of Kropfeld, Jim Kropfeld, the late Jim Kropfeld, and Chip Howenauer, and then Dave Vilwalk and Mark Tate. We've always had some tremendous 2-boat rivalries. This year, we actually had some 4- and 5-boat rivalries, but unfortunately the 96, the Elstrom boat, crashed in Detroit and was unable to be here this weekend. But you look at the speed of the 21, you look at the speed of the 27, and picture those 5 fastest guys on the front line in the final. We haven't had this depth of competition, Steve, as long as I can remember.
You know, one of the best heats of racing I remember here in San Diego, you won the heat. And the young man to your right was Jeff Bernard, driving for Ted Porter.
Oh, yeah.
He stayed right on your outside sponson for all 3 laps.
I could not get rid of that punk no matter how hard I tried. And, in fact, we actually collided in the first turn. I hopped out a little, he came in a little bit, and we both came in afterwards and hugged each other because we thought it was just the coolest race we had. But Jeff was driving then for Formula Boats and did a tremendous job. Jeff is currently the radio guy for the Alberta. What's the radio guy do? Tells the driver where everybody is, where his timing marks are. He's kind of the second mind, if you will, and Jeff's a great person to have in that position.
Isn't it great when you have conditions like you have here? You don't have to worry so much about water and wind, and you can drive hard as you 2 did then.
Oh yeah. When you know you got a great racer next to you, you can let it all hang out because you know they're going to do the right thing too. And San Diego, the water. I mean, look at it today. Even though we have a little bit of a sea breeze now, it's maybe 10 miles an hour. Water's perfect. Now, when that sea breeze kicks up to 20 plus, the back straightaway, which is what leads into turn 2 down towards our area, the wind comes underneath the bridge from the Pacific, and it can get really, really dangerous there. We don't have that today. Today's just awesome
2,
water.
1, mark, 5 minutes.
There's
There we
that
go,
5
Steve.
minute. Steve, I think our camera's picking up the propeller turning on the Graham boat.
Look at that.
These boats don't have neutral. Once you start the engine, the turbine lights up. It's turning the gearbox, which is turning the prop shaft. So you might wonder how come they don't dock so well like regular boaters. There is no neutral reverse. It's all go.
And there is Mission Bay awaiting our 4 boats that are going to be running in Heat 1B. J. Michael Kelly pulls into your view in the 5, Graham Trucking. Second place currently in National High Points. Off to the right, that's Tom Thompson. Easy to spot that boat. We call that aging announcer chartreuse.
And Mays out of England, but they ship boats throughout the world, including offices here in Southern California.
They are joined on the backstretch by Jimmy Shane in the Alberto. He'll come into your picture shortly. And we hear the 4th boat spooling up down below us. That is the 100 Miss Car Stars, and there he is, Kevin Ekrit, just leaving the pit area.
And that's a new sponsor as well in our sport. We welcome them, Car Stars. And they're also sponsored down here, I think, by a well-known restaurant chain as well, Tony Roma's, I believe. Steve, it's an interesting thing here. You got the former Miss Budweiser in the Formula boats. You've got the Oboy Alberto, who has won multiple national championships, owned by the 13,000 residents of Madison, Indiana. Jimmy Shane now is in his 2nd year with this team. He's won a Gold Cup for him twice. And if he can lock up this weekend, that's 2 national championships in a row, adding to their already impressive record.
I've asked Jimmy Shane a number of times if he had any idea what he was getting into when he became the driver of the Madison-owned entry, and you're one of the only guys in the world who can relate to that. But it's much more than driving a race boat that comes with that job, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you have 13,000 people that understand racing because they've been racing now for 52 or 53 years, and when you mess up, you get about 13,000 emails. Telling you exactly what you did wrong.
But you're also a local hero. You never have to buy a drink if you're in Madison, right?
Well, if I drank, that would be true.
Yeah.
But what they did allow me to do, Steve, Chevrolet's been very kind to me and gave me, with some money, a Z06 this year, a Corvette, and that was the one town I was able to find out how fast it would go. But as the police warned me, Steve, you got one little area, that's it, and that's the only thing we're ever going to be able to do for you.
J. Michael Kelly going behind the island that's in the middle of the race course. He'll come onto the backstretch now.
And that island, Steve, there's a VOR on that, which is part of the whole landing system here for San Diego International Airport with Lindbergh Field, which is only about 2 to 3 miles south of us.
And Kelly came onto the backstretch right in front of Kevin Ekrit, who was back just a little bit, and those two are in your picture now. That low profile, that's a different kind of a cowling design that Fred Leland came up with, the late Fred Leland.
And that boat, by the way, that Kevin Ekrit's driving, that boat has won multiple races and championships when it ran under the Pico sponsorship. Since then, Stacy Brino, one of our women owners, has bought the boat, and boy, that's probably one of our most improved boats in the circuit. She and the team have done a tremendous job with that boat. What you're seeing right now, Steve, a lot of psychology going on. You see the 5 up there, you see Alberto coming up quick. The goal here is you want lane 1, but you can't get up there too early or you're going to get a call from going under 80 miles an hour. So you see Alberto trying to catch up. He's going to try to get the inside. The 5 is in a good position.
It would appear now that J. Michael Kelly is going to be inside of Jimmy Shane, but we'll see how it shakes off. They still have a ways to go before the start of the race.
Yeah, the key is if you got a timer on this thing at home, that when they get next to the VOR beacon at island, you don't want to be there before 60 to 65 seconds. If you're there before 65 seconds, it's because you're going slower than 80 miles an hour and you're going to get popped. For example,
11 has been told to pick it up a little bit.
Yep, and you only have 5 seconds to pick it up.
Mark, and there is
He's
the
got
1 minute mark. He's just going by the score up buoy now. He knew he was early.
Yep.
That's why he was slowing way down, but I think he has lane 1.
He may have lane 1. Now the boats behind him are in really good position. This is going to be a fast start because you can either hit it at the yellow pin right now where the 11 is with about 21 seconds and nail the start, or at the exit at 9 to 10 seconds. But this is going to be a doozy because you got the 11 looks like they're hanging out in lane 1. You got 5 and 2. You got Car Stars in 3, and you got Alberto uncharacteristically out in lane 4.
Now this could be a factor because Jimmy Shane is going to be out in lane 4 at the start of this race.
Now the question is, is it a matter of they just want to finish heats and get points and win the championship and then wait to the final heat to win, or do they want to win every heat? Because the way it looks now, he's not in a good position to win the heat unless they think they got superior speed over the 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. mark.
Looks like a good start.
Tom Thompson was up there way early and going very slow. He may have some issues from the officials due to going slowly here on this final score-up lap. Now we're racing. J. Michael Kelly on the inside.
That's the Oberto.
Oh, the Oberto moves out ahead of him immediately.
That was the advantage of the straightaway speed that the Oberto had. The 11, I think, jumped the gun, Steve.
The 11 did. Now we're onto the backstretch and coming right at us. Jimmy Shane made a tremendous start on the outside. We can't see that from this angle. Halfway through the first turn, he already had the lead, Steve.
Just like the 21, Steve. He built up momentum. The 5 was up there a little bit early, didn't have the momentum. Oberto hammered it way back at the exit and built momentum the whole way. Now he's got to get enough boat lengths to come over and hold the 5 in tight, and it looks like he's got it. All he needs is 7 boat lengths, and he can come in and hold him tight.
Jimmy Shane has the lead coming down to complete lap 1. J. Michael Kelly on his left is back about a half a rooster tail already here on lap 1. Tremendous boat speed from the Oberto. We've seen that before. Kelly not able to stay with him even though he had the inside advantage. Now we'll watch him go through turn 1 for the second time. Kelly maybe can make up a little bit of water here.
It looks like at the very end of the straightaway, the Graham trucking boat's able to pick up on him a little bit, but the Oberto has superior acceleration coming out of the turn, and that's what got it for him at the start. The Graham boat didn't hit it till about 2 buoys before the start-finish line, whereas the Oberto hit it at the exit pin, so he had a lot more speed coming into the first turn, and that's going to make all the difference.
Jimmy Shane running nice and wide, Steve. He's leaving a lot of room for J. Michael Kelly off to his left, and Kelly is still right there. He hasn't given up on this chase yet.
Yeah, he's more than 7 boat lengths back, just barely. Jimmy's almost in position where he can close the door on him, but if you think you got the speed, no need to close the door, no need to risk a bad call. Now look at the separation now, and by the time they get to the end of that straightaway, you're going to see the Graham trucking boat close a little bit of gap on the old boy Oberto, because the Oberto is really set up for acceleration. Looks like the Graham trucking boat is set up for top end, but it's not going to be enough to win this race.
Tom Thompson came by in 3rd place, but he did jump the gun, so he's back in 4th. Kevin Eckert will move from 4th up to 3rd as a result of Thompson jumping. Now we're on our final lap, and here they come right at you.
And the Carstars boat has been this way a lot during the year. They've been able to take advantage of others' mistakes, and the kid's running a clean race. He's going to get 3rd place points and may help him get to the final.
Jimmy Shane, that's our camera located down in the VIP hospitality area. He's coming right by you there, just about 205 miles per hour. Into his final turn, he flies the boat. Got it high in the air. He still has a big lead on J. Michael Kelly. I don't think JMK is going to catch him this time.
No, he's not. And also, if you notice, Jimmy ran in the Oberto a very clean race. He had an opportunity to close the door on the 5. He didn't. He kept him tight and honest, but he ran a good, clean race. Nobody can complain about that one. The 11 got wet down here, but he was way behind the other boats, and I think they had plenty of room to come over on him.
Checkered flag for Jimmy Shane and the Oberto Beef Jerky, and he picks up 100 points in that very, very tight national high points race.
That gives Oberto an additional 100 points, plus he was top qualifier, and I think the Graham trucking boat was a little bit back there, so it's about a 140-point advantage on top of the 600 that he had. You basically, with 3 heats left, there's only 1,200 points to get. So once you get to that magic point, you've won the championship.
I believe the difference after qualifying was 6-6.
6, so, not a number you want.
So now it is 7-6.
Yep, and you just got to get to, and at this point there's only 1,200 points left, right? So you subtract that from the number that he's got, and that's the gap. Once you've got that insured, you win the championship. But Jimmy drove a tremendous race, used his acceleration to win that race. Wasn't where he wanted to be at the start, but he had the acceleration to make it one.
Jimmy Shane and the Oberto team at this point need to keep running all weekend, and the National High Point Championship will be theirs. They do not need to win the rest of their heats. It will make a difference, of course, if J. Michael Kelly is also in the heat.
You know what, though? You still want to win because you want to have those guaranteed points in case something happens in a subsequent heat. You don't finish. You throw a prop, something like that. So you still want to keep getting 400 points. The Peters and May boat is running an extra lap because of that jumping the gun. That's a 1-lap penalty. Carstars is running an extra lap. I'm not sure why. We haven't heard anything.
Well, it's seat time.
Yeah,
he enjoys being out there.
It might be that, or his radio might have also gone on the blink and he doesn't know he was okay. But I'll check with the officials.
Getting a look at J. Michael Kelly, the 5 Graham Trucking, a 2nd place finish in Heat 1B. A couple of boats still on the water. There's Tom Thompson going down into turn 1. Got the checkered flag that time by. He'll get a 4th place finish. He was 3rd on the water, a 1-lap penalty for jumping the gun. Tom had timing problems way too early up to the score-up point. had to slow down again approaching the start-finish line. Actually got across it too early. So a one-lap penalty for Tom Thompson in the Peters and May. Jimmy Shane and the Oberto Beef Jerky, a great start this weekend. Our top qualifier, winner of Heat 1B. They have scored the maximum points available so far. Steve David reporting back in, everything clean.
Yeah, good clean race. The only call was on the 11 for jumping the gun, but the rest of them ran a good clean race. And congratulations to Jimmy Shane and the Oberto and the points. Now, what the 5 is going to learn, the Graham Trucking, Steve, is they realize, okay, we got some top end, we got to get acceleration on this thing, because he's really good at grabbing lane 1, but if you don't have the acceleration, lane 1 isn't necessarily going to help you, so tomorrow could be a completely different day.
I mentioned a couple hours ago that the Porter team changed the gearboxes between their 5 and 7 boats, thinking that perhaps the one that had been in the 7 would be better in the 5, maybe not.
Yep, and that's why you're going to see some things tomorrow. I mentioned the Corvette Z06, Steve. What Jimmy Shane just did is what a Z06 would do to a Porsche. Blew him away.
No partiality there, huh?
A lot of partiality.
You've had that since we were in Madison.
Yes, sure was. I picked it up. My dear friend, in fact, he was the team manager for the Formula team, but Mark Hooden helped me get that from Chevrolet and helped me get exactly what I wanted.
So
and,
how many speeding tickets since July?
No speeding tickets, but I got to tell you, they were just so wonderful to deal with, and to buy an American car that runs as superb as that does for the value that it is. It's
so you recommend fans buy those
$90,000
$90,000 Corvettes?
Absolutely, run out and buy that Z06.
Okay. Jimmy Shane just coming off the boat. Our Kay Brewer is down there to meet him, and we'll have a word with him in just a moment. You know, I want to mention at this point, covering this sport as I have for 4 decades, we went through many, many years where it was the same faces, the same drivers. They were getting a little longer in the tooth. They were almost my age, some of them. And now we have Jimmy Shane and J. Michael Kelly and these youngsters who are as good as any we've ever seen in the sport. I can't imagine where we'd be without these kids who have really made this the modern, exciting sport that it is today.
Absolutely, and good parents, good family men. Jimmy just had a child. They got another child on the way with his lovely wife Bianca. And Bianca, by the way, was a boat racer as well, as was her father. You got J. Michael Kelly now, who's got another child in the way. So these aren't just racers; these are family guys, and they work real jobs. This is weekend warrior stuff for them. But as you say, they are two of the best the sport's ever had.
Yeah, Jimmy is now a rocket scientist up in the Seattle area, working for Jeff Bezos at Blue Origin, building spaceships in Kent, not too far from where we live. It's no coincidence, I think, that these hydro babies, which we're having regularly now, are the cutest kids in the world.
Aren't they, though? You know, you mentioned rocket scientist, Steve. There's nothing more opposite from you and me than a rocket scientist.
I was just talking to a couple of guys up here that were talking about online gaming, and I said, I wish I was smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
There's Kay, and I believe she has Jimmy headed her way. Here he comes. Kay Brewer, you'll hear us calling her K-Dub, and she's going to have Jimmy Shane. As soon as you're ready, Kay, go ahead.
Got Jimmy Shane here. I'm not sure if you could hear it when you were coming in, but the boats back here were honking their horns, and I'm pretty sure all the way back at Madison, they were honking their horns for you. Congratulations on Heat 1B win.
Thank you. That was a great run for the Oberto boat. We left our big setup in the boat. We wanted to stay clean that heat and wanted to keep our speed up on the outside, and that's exactly what the boat did. We really showed some oomph there in that heat, and that's exactly what we're here to do.
You swept around way out on the outside on that, though, and you gave J. Michael the opportunity to keep that inside lane. J. Michael's not one to let sit on the inside of you.
No, we like I say, we came into the weekend knowing that we're going to race clean and try to not make any mistakes, and that's exactly what we did that heat, and we're going to continue to do that all weekend long, hopefully.
Well, congratulations to Jimmy Shane and the Oberto and all the way back at Miss Madison. We're going to go find J. Michael Kelly here in the Graham Trucking and go talk to him about how he felt on that heat.
Thank you, Kay, and that is an interesting point. I remember calling a heat in the Tri-Cities years ago where Dave Villwalk was out on about lane 5, won the heat. And I remarked to him later, I said, it's not easy to win from out there. He says, that's exactly the setup we had in the boat. Yeah. We said, how do we win this heat? Let's go outside and go fast.
Well, Steve, what is the equivalent of, if you picture a stick shift car, you're in first, second gear, you got great acceleration, but you lose top end real quick. You start in sixth gear, it's either going to stall or take forever to get to speed. So you're in a hydroplane, you're trying to find that happy medium. What Oberto is doing is choosing a top end setup what you saw, and it was acceleration, it was a combination of the two, but what he said is our bigger setup is still in the truck. There's more top end waiting. So if he can get lane 1 and he's got the acceleration, he's looking real good in the final. But don't forget, the 5 doesn't give up. Graham Trucking has got some great gearboxes. They got some great engines in their truck. They're going to be working on that. Their crew chief, Tommy, is one of the best. He was one of my crew chiefs. So they're not going to give up. He also had some damage you can see in the right rear afterplane. Now, he had a trucking accident on the way in there. When a truck stop in the Midwest, an 18-wheeler cut too sharp, hit the back end of the boat. They had the rudder off. They did some damage right there. So they're going to be working all night fixing that. Now, that didn't necessarily impact that race, but it does impact you in a turn because you got a lot of water hitting unequal surfaces, kind of like a NASCAR when you done the car up. So that did cost him some speed in the turns.
They said it was a fairly small hole. They were confident in the repair they had made, but obviously the hydraulic forces in that area have done some damage in the area of the repair.
Steve, in the turn, you're talking well north of 30,000 pounds per square inch. Yeah, there's a lot, but they're going to get it fixed. These guys are good. Boat actually has got some water in it because you can see it's hanging a little bit low to the bow. So they're going to get to the transom to try to get the boat to settle down. The stern, because all the water ran to the front of the sponson. So they want to get it back, get the water out. They'll be working tonight to fix that, but these guys are great. The Graham Trucking crew is one of the best. They're going to get this thing fixed. They're going to make some changes in gearboxes and engines, but so is Oberto. And the 27, I don't think we've seen everything it's got, nor have we seen the 3, nor have we really seen the 21. So tomorrow's going to be one heck of a race. We sure hope you tune in and watch us. Starting at what time tomorrow, Steve?
Have to find out. That information I wanted to mention will be on the H1 website and the H1 Facebook page. We will have to take a look at the schedule for tomorrow, figure out exactly when everything is happening, and we'll be able to publish our broadcast schedule for you. Obviously going to be a full day of racing. We have all kinds of stuff we can fill in with between heats. We have cracker boxes already recorded. We saw the super stocks earlier. We showed you some outboards. Boat racing fans across the country and around the world got to be loving the chance to sit at home and watch. Oh, here's Kay with
JMK.
JMK.
You came up that ramp with your head just shaking like that was about. That's still a great run.
Oh, no, we definitely ran really well out there. Jimmy Shane ran us nice and clean. He had a steam at the start, and really had no reason to come over on us. And he just did a really good job running out there, and definitely showed the speed that Alberto had. U5 Graham Trucking, man, what a tough weekend. Start off a couple days before the race and get the boat crunched up, and no control over that. And looking at it right now, it's not looking too good. So it's pretty frustrating. I really feel bad for the guys. You're in San Diego, and you just want to do well and get through the weekend nice and clean, and so these guys can enjoy their time here. And but right now it looks like it's going to be another long night. And, but these guys are absolutely amazing. They give me an awesome boat to go drive. Graham Trucking, big, huge sponsor for us, and we're going to get this thing patched up, and we're going to go give those Oberto guys and the Cal Phipps and 27 team a run for their money. I mean, you got the 9, the 100, all these guys. Just this competition is so awesome, and we're gonna get this thing fixed and make sure we're in the mix.
I've watched many of you guys have some damage to these boats. I would not be surprised if tonight you and a few other teammates from a couple other teams are going to be over here helping you out, because everybody wants to see all of you guys back out on the water tomorrow. It looks bad from here, but J. Michael, I've seen worse.
Oh, there's always been worse. These guys will have it fixed, but yeah, like you said, we're all family and friends here. We butt heads at times, but at the end of the day, you want to beat the best of the best, and you want to make sure that, that other boat's out there. So, if we need help, somebody else will jump in, and I'm sure. So, we'll be all right. We got parts and pieces and
tomorrow's schedule.
Glue and
Tomorrow's schedule.
We've got some hours, so we'll get it done.
You got a few hours to go. J. Michael, I'll let you get a little closer look at that once it gets up here, and we'll be seeing everybody again tomorrow. J. Michael, I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing you out here again tomorrow.
Thank you, Kay and J. Michael Kelly. Now, no mention from the driver that the performance was affected at all, but looking at the damage to the rear, I wouldn't have been surprised. Look at that. How can that be as hydrodynamically efficient as a smooth transom.
Well, in the straightaway, it wouldn't have affected you basically because at that point the air is not laminar, meaning not sticking to the surface, but it certainly affects you in a turn because when the water hits that, it's being deflected in several different directions. For our friends that are going to watch us tomorrow, you can log on to h1unlimited.com or join us on Facebook. We'll have all the login information for you, and as Steve mentioned, we're going to have a lot of racing tomorrow, and it's in California, so if you're in the East Coast, you're going to be a 3-hour time difference, but we got a lot of racing coming up, Steve.
The next time the Unlimiteds go on the water is at 1340. This is a throwback to our friend Jim Kidrick.
It is, in
who used to
respect
run
to-
this event. They called him Slug. That was his name when he flew in the Air Force.
Slug, by the way, was short, little, ugly guy for my friend Jim Kidrick.
Exactly. But everything here is in military time. So 1340 tomorrow, which means that at 140, we're going to have Heat 2A. It'll be followed fairly closely at 2 o'clock by Heat 2B. That is the first time the Unlimiteds will be on the water tomorrow. Sometime midday, we will be on with our live streaming. You can check the time again on the H1 Unlimited website. That's just h1unlimited.com. Also, you can go, if you're a Facebooker, check the H1 Facebook page. If you haven't already clicked and joined and followed our H1 Facebook page, you should do so right now. And that'll get you the starting time for tomorrow. We'll be on with all of the H1 Unlimited remaining heats. We will also show you more Grand Prix racing, and as time allows, we have some other activity we can show you from the Cracker Boxes and other classes that ran earlier today. I presume you will be back tomorrow.
Steve, it's so good working with you, man. For years, you recall in my racing when I was driving, and it's such a pleasure for me to work with you, the legend, and you know the sport better than anybody else out there. So delighted to help where I can help, Steve, and I'll be up and back with you as we have problems during the day, but I sure appreciate you being here.
I looked up the word legend. It said old person.
Well, Steve,
You're falling into that category.
Fall into it.
Yeah.
Social Security's 3 months away.
Exactly. People who see me in the pits, they go, "Hey, I thought you retired." I go, "Yeah, so did Steve David." And look where we are now.
No way. We brought you back. We brought Bruce Mattei back. I mean, we brought, when I got this position, Steve, I wanted to bring the best people that I knew in the industry back, and so pleased to have all of you working with us to move H1 forward.
And by word of explaining that, which I've had to do many times, for 7 years I was the public relations marketing guy for the sport, doing the website and the updating and the social media, etc. I indeed retired from that, which was a daily process. And that is the job that Bruce Mattei now has taken over. Extremely qualified guy. Many, many years the sports information director at the University of Michigan. I told him, Bruce, the difference is going to be you no longer have a 9-man department.
It's him.
It's a one-man band. Good luck and have fun, and he's doing a great job.
Oh, well, it's been a pleasure, Steve. I look forward to getting on the air tomorrow and giving the fans the best possible unlimited hydroplane racing and American Powerboat Association racing we can.
Check the H1 website for our start time tomorrow. Steve Montgomery for Steve David and Kay Brewer saying goodbye for now from beautiful, sunny Southern California.